A question many homebuyers are faced with right now is, should I buy now or should I wait? And I get why. It feels like a huge decision. Prices, rates, headlines, opinions from friends, it all gets pretty overwhelming. But here's something that I've noticed. Most people that are asking, should I wait, aren't really asking about the market. They're asking, am I about to make a mistake? And it's a very fair question. So instead of trying to predict the future or predict the market, I want to talk to you about what actually matters when you're making this big decision. Because real estate decisions aren't made when all the numbers magically lined up on a spreadsheet telling you now's the time. They're made with real life in mind. So let's start with the big one. Let's talk about interest rates. And rates matter. Of course they do. But monthly payments also matter. Two people can buy the exact same house at different rates and have very different outcomes depending on their income, their debt, and their comfort levels. This isn't me giving you the date the rate, marry the house advice. I'm not a mortgage broker, but I am a realtor saying, don't make decisions just based on headlines about the interest rates. Get real numbers, talk to a professional, and look at the payment and not just a percentage. Because a lower rate doesn't help you if the payment still keeps you up at night. Let's talk about the other big one, buyers waiting for prices to drop. Now, price drops sound great in theory, but here's what usually happens. When prices soften, the competition disappears kind of quietly. But when they stabilize or even start to creep up a little bit again, that competition comes back in a hurry. So yes, prices might dip. And spoiler alert, they already have. But if a bunch of buyers come back all at the same time, you're right back into pressure, multiple offers, and rushed decisions. And that's why timing the bottom is so hard. Which leads me to another point buyers need to hear. Waiting only works if your life stays perfectly stable. Same job, same income, same rent, and same motivation. And most people's lives don't work like that. Rent changes, jobs change, family plans change, and your stress level changes. So when somebody tells me, I'm just going to wait a year, I usually ask, what does that actually look like for you? Because waiting without a plan is just hoping. Buying isn't about trying to predict the bottom of the market. It's about buying a house that you can actually hold. If you're buying something that you can afford, that works for your life, and you're planning to stay, the exact month that you bought is going to matter less and less over time. A so-called bad time to buy, on paper, could be a good time to buy for the right person. And here's something else that you've probably heard before, but that is time in the market usually beats timing the market. And not because markets only go up, but because people who wait often miss opportunities they didn't even know existed. Something else you need to remember as a buyer who's thinking about waiting is that negotiating power shifts way before the headlines do. Real estate data is a lagging indicator, meaning that by the time the news is reporting on it, they're reporting on data that was created months ago. By the time that everybody agrees it's safe, the leverage is usually gone. Fear, on the other hand, it gets loud. It shows up early, and fear convinces people that doing nothing is safer than doing something. But when I look back with buyers, sometimes years later, regret usually doesn't sound like this. Oh, I bought too early. It usually sounds like I stretched it too far or I bought something that wasn't a right fit. The mistake wasn't in the timing, it was in ignoring comfort. So if you're trying to decide whether to buy now or to wait, here's a calmer way to frame it. Can I afford the payments? Does this home work for me now and for the next few years? And do I have the flexibility if things change? If those answers are yes, the market just becomes background noise. But if those answers are no, it might be best to wait. And not because of the market, but because of you. And that line of thinking is what most people skip. So the real question isn't should I buy now or should I wait? The real question is what would make buying feel solid for me right now, not stressful? And once you answer that, the timing question usually answers itself. Now, if you live in the Sarnia area and you want some help thinking this through properly, I've got my buyer's guide linked below, and you can also book a call with me and we could discuss your unique scenario. No pressure, just a conversation. Either way, take your time. Clarity beats urgency every time.